Have you ever found yourself agreeing to something you never intended to? Or after a conversation, did you suddenly doubt your own thoughts without knowing why? If this sounds familiar, you might have been manipulated in ways so subtle that you didn't even realize it. In today's world, we are constantly interacting with others' friends, colleagues, media, and social networks. While some influences are harmless or even beneficial, others are deliberately designed to control your thoughts, emotions, and actions for someone else's gain. This is manipulation. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the most powerful and sophisticated manipulation tactics strategies that can undermine your confidence, trap you in emotional spirals, or push you into decisions that don't truly reflect your desires. More importantly, you'll learn how to recognize and neutralize them before they take hold. Why is this knowledge crucial? Because we now live in an age where manipulation doesn't just come from those around us, it's embedded in media narratives, marketing strategies, and digital platforms designed to shape your choices. Understanding these tactics isn't just about self-defense. It's about reclaiming your independence and sharpening your critical thinking. Join me as we expose the 5 most common forms of manipulation, from emotional tactics that make you question yourself to psychological tricks that exploit your deepest fears and desires. Once you understand how they work, you won't just be a passive target. You'll take back control of your thoughts, decisions, and life. 1. Emotional manipulation, the invisible chess game. Imagine stepping into a mystical forest where each tree represents a different emotion: joy, fear, guilt. Now, picture someone deliberately shaking these trees, causing emotions to swirl around you like a storm, leaving you disoriented. This is emotional manipulation, an invisible chess game where your emotions are the pieces and your mind is the board. The manipulator plays with precision, making strategic moves to control how you feel, think, and act. The danger of emotional manipulation lies in its subtlety. It rarely appears as outright coercion, but instead disguises itself as care, affection, or even silence. A skilled manipulator is like a master illusionist, directing your focus away from their true intentions, while weaving an intricate web around your emotions. One of the most common tactics is guilt tripping. Imagine a friend asking you for a favor that makes you uncomfortable. You decline, and suddenly, their expression shifts. They sigh deeply, casting a disappointed glance that silently accuses. "I thought we were close." In that moment, self-doubt creeps in. Are you being selfish? Should you reconsider? Without realizing it, you start prioritizing their emotions over your own needs. Another powerful strategy is fear induction. Manipulators plant the seed of anxiety, suggesting that if you don't comply, something bad will happen. They frame themselves as your only source of guidance, the single flicker of light in a darkened room. As fear tightens its grip, you unknowingly start relying on them to navigate your own choices. How do you protect yourself? Self-awareness. Know yourself before someone else tries to define you. Pay attention to your emotions, understand what triggers them, and recognize when feelings of guilt or fear rise unnaturally. Like a skilled gardener tending to each plant, nurture and understand your emotions rather than letting others shake them at will. Setting boundaries. Protecting yourself doesn't mean building walls. It means having doors that you open and close on your terms. Learn to say no without guilt, understanding that prioritizing your own well-being is not selfish. It's necessary. Balance in relationships. Healthy connections should feel like a dance, where both partners move in sync with mutual respect. If you constantly find yourself adjusting your steps to fit someone else's rhythm, it may be time to reassess the balance of power in that relationship. Honest communication. Confronting an emotional manipulator isn't easy. But sometimes a simple phrase like, "I feel uncomfortable with this," or "I need to think about it," can shift the dynamic and disrupt their control. Emotional manipulation is an art of deception, but by mastering self-awareness, setting firm boundaries, and maintaining balanced relationships, you become immune to its influence. Remember, in the chess game of life, you are not a pawn, you are the king or queen of your own fate. 2. Beware of fallacies, the illusions of manipulative arguments. In the battlefield of persuasion, logical fallacies are like mirages in a desert, appearing convincing from a distance, yet crumbling into deception upon closer inspection. These flawed arguments are designed to mislead, distract, and manipulate, making you question your own reasoning. Recognizing them is essential in defending yourself against intellectual manipulation. The art of deception in arguments. One of the most insidious fallacies is ad hominem, a tactic where instead of addressing your argument, the other person attacks your character, background, or personal traits. Imagine debating a political issue, only for your opponent to dismiss your points by saying, "You're too young to understand this," or "You didn't even finish college. Why should anyone take you seriously?" This diversionary tactic shifts focus from the issue at hand to personal flaws, real or perceived, making the debate about you rather than the argument itself. Another common deception is hasty generalization, where a small or isolated instance is used to make sweeping claims about an entire group. Picture someone seeing one reckless driver from a particular city and concluding, "Everyone from that city drives horribly." These overgeneralizations prey on cognitive shortcuts, making us accept broad conclusions based on limited evidence. Then there's the slippery slope fallacy, which suggests that a minor action will inevitably lead to disastrous consequences. A parent might say, "If I let you stay up late tonight, you'll never develop discipline, and your whole future will be ruined." This exaggeration plays on fear, making small choices seem like the first step toward catastrophe. How to guard yourself against logical fallacies. Learn to recognize them. The first step in resisting manipulation is awareness. Familiarize yourself with common fallacies so that when they appear, you can identify them instantly instead of being swayed by emotional rhetoric. Practice critical thinking. Don't accept arguments at face value. Ask yourself, is this claim backed by evidence? Is this a distraction from the real issue? Question sweeping statements and demand logical consistency. Stay focused on facts, not emotions. Manipulative arguments often exploit emotions to override logic. If you find yourself feeling defensive, ashamed, or fearful, take a step back and analyze whether the argument is sound or simply designed to trigger an emotional reaction. Hold your ground in debates when faced with fallacies. Calmly steer the discussion back to facts. If someone attacks you personally, call it out. Let's focus on the argument, not personal attacks. If they use a slippery slope, challenge them. Can you show how it necessarily leads to be? Logical fallacies are the weapons of those who seek to control the narrative, rather than engage in honest discussion. By sharpening your ability to spot them and standing firm in the face of deception, you empower yourself to think clearly, argue effectively, and protect yourself from manipulation. In the battle of ideas, knowledge is your greatest shield. 3. Beware of fake compliments. Don't let them manipulate you. Compliments are a double-edged sword. They can be genuine recognition that boosts our confidence and makes us feel appreciated. But sometimes behind those sweet words lies a hidden agenda, a subtle form of manipulation designed to control your emotions and actions. Have you ever received a compliment that made you feel slightly uncomfortable, as if there was an unspoken intention behind it? Or has someone ever praised you too much, to the point where you felt like you owed them something? If so, you might be dealing with fake compliments, a tool used by manipulators to make you feel special and relaxed, while secretly leading you into their control. How are fake compliments used to manipulate you, creating a sense of obligation? Some people use compliments as a trap to make you feel like you owe them something. For example, someone might say, "You're really amazing at this. No one else can do it as well as you." Then right after, they ask for a favor. You might feel pressured to agree, because rejecting them would make you feel like you don't deserve their praise. Exploiting your need for recognition. Everyone loves being praised, especially when it touches on something they take pride in. Manipulators identify what matters most to you and use it to gain influence over you, lowering your guard. A sweet compliment can make you feel comfortable and relaxed, causing you to drop your defenses. That's when manipulators can easily steer you in their desired direction without you even realizing it. How to avoid being manipulated by fake compliments? Focus on actions, not just words. A compliment only holds value when it is accompanied by sincere actions. If someone constantly praises you, but their actions don't align with their words, be cautious. Distinguish between genuine praise and flattery. A genuine compliment is usually specific, showing keen observation and connection to reality. Flattery, on the other hand, tends to be vague, exaggerated, or overly repetitive. If someone keeps saying, "You're always amazing, everything you do is perfect," without giving any specific example, question their true motives. Seek an outside perspective. Sometimes a trusted friend or colleague can help you see things more objectively. If you're unsure whether a compliment is genuine or manipulative, ask someone you trust for their opinion. Build inner confidence. When you have real self-confidence, you won't be easily influenced by manipulative compliments. Learn to appreciate yourself based on your true worth, not just the words of others. 4. Recognizing the tactic of isolation, a subtle yet dangerous form of manipulation. One of the most insidious tactics manipulators use is isolation, gradually cutting you off from friends, family, and other support systems. At first, it may seem like they simply want more of your time, attention, or loyalty. But over time, this strategy ensures that you become completely dependent on them, making it harder for you to challenge their control or seek help. How does isolation work? Manipulators don't always isolate you in obvious ways. Instead, they often use subtle psychological tactics that make you question your relationships and slowly pull away from your loved ones. Sowing seeds of doubt about your relationships. They might frequently say things like, "Are you sure your best friend really supports you?" Or, "Your family never truly understands you like I do." These seemingly innocent comments plant doubt in your mind, making you second-guess the intentions of those closest to you. Slowly reducing your contact with others. At first, they may encourage you to spend more time with them, making it seem like an act of love or care. But as time passes, they start subtly discouraging or guilt-tripping you for spending time with others. "Why do you always go out with them instead of staying with me?" Over time, you might start prioritizing them over everyone else without even realizing it. Discrediting your support system. They might criticize, belittle, or paint your loved ones in a negative light, saying things like, "Your friends don't really care about you," or "Your family is just trying to control you." By making you doubt the trustworthiness of those around you. They weaken your support system, making you easier to control. How to defend yourself against isolation. Stay connected with your support system. Even if someone pressures you to distance yourself, Make a conscious effort to stay in touch with family, friends, and colleagues. Strong relationships act as a safety net, helping you recognize manipulation before it takes full control. Set clear boundaries. If someone tries to dictate who you should or shouldn't spend time with, stand firm in your decisions. You have the right to maintain your relationships without needing approval from anyone else. Trust your intuition. If you ever feel trapped, controlled, or cut off from others, don't ignore those gut feelings. Manipulators thrive on making you doubt yourself, so the moment you sense isolation tactics at play, take action to protect yourself. Seek an outside perspective. Sometimes when you're in the middle of a manipulative situation, it's hard to see it clearly. Talking to someone outside of the situation, a trusted friend, family member, or even a therapist can help. 5. Recognizing the tactic of blame shifting when guilt becomes a weapon. Manipulative people often use blame shifting as a powerful tool to control and influence others. Instead of taking responsibility for their own actions, they twist situations in a way that makes you feel guilty, even for things that are entirely out of your control. Over time, this can erode your confidence, making you question your own judgment and feel responsible for their emotions and reactions. How blame shifting works. Blame shifting is a form of emotional manipulation where the manipulator deflects responsibility onto you, making it seem as if you are the cause of their problems or negative emotions. This can take many forms, such as making you feel responsible for their emotions. Manipulators often say things like, "If you hadn't said that, I wouldn't have gotten so angry. You're the reason I feel this way. Why do you always make me upset?" Instead of managing their own emotions, they project them onto you, making you feel guilty for how they react, guilt tripping you into compliance. They might try to pressure you into doing what they want by making you feel like you're being selfish or hurtful. "I wouldn't have said that if you hadn't provoked me." Over time, this constant gaslighting can make you doubt your own memory and instincts, leaving you vulnerable to their control. How to protect yourself from blame shifting. Recognize that you are not responsible for their actions. One of the most important things to understand is that everyone is responsible for their own emotions and behavior. If someone gets angry, sad, or frustrated, that is their reaction, not something you caused or need to fix. Set clear boundaries. When someone tries to shift blame onto you, stand firm and refuse to accept misplaced guilt. You can respond with statements like, "I understand that you're upset, but I am not responsible for how you feel. I won't take the blame for something that isn't my fault." Setting boundaries lets them know that their manipulation won't work on you. Pay attention to patterns, not just individual incidents. Everyone has moments of frustration, but if someone constantly makes you feel guilty, it's a red flag. If you notice a pattern of them always blaming you while avoiding responsibility themselves, it's a sign of toxic behavior. Surround yourself with supportive people. Manipulators thrive in isolation. If you find yourself constantly second-guessing your own actions due to someone's blame shifting, talk to a trusted friend, family member, or therapist. They can provide a clearer perspective and help reinforce what is and isn't your responsibility. Trust your own reality. If you know in your heart that you didn't do anything wrong, believe in yourself. Manipulators will try to twist reality to suit their narrative, but you don't have to accept their version of the truth. Keep a journal if necessary to track events and conversations, so you have something to refer back to if they try to gaslight you.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.